So this is Robert Giorgione for robertgiorgione.com. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce you to Tim Heath, who's the chief winemaker at Cloudy Bay, New Zealand. Great iconic vineyard, of course, known for Sauvignon Blanc. But we're actually tasting a couple of Rieslings, and I'm really thrilled because Riesling is actually my favourite grape. I have this saying that when you say Riesling, you smile. So over to you, Tim.
Sure. So we've got two Rieslings within our range of wines, and one of them is a dry Riesling style, and the other one is a botrytized Riesling, which we call a late harvest Riesling, but in actual fact it's actually a botrytis influenced style. So obviously very, very different wines, but they're both from the same vintage, the ones that we have in front of us, both from 2007. So a bit of fun to have a look at two really different expressions of the Riesling grape from the same year. Now our dry Riesling is, I would say, influenced by the region of Alsace in France, and differs to a lot of the Rieslings coming out of our area that typically fermented in stainless steel tanks. We're using very old French barrels, around about 8 to 13 years old. So they're well seasoned and not really adding any oak flavour to the wine, but fermenting in old oak tends to give I kind of term it a savoury tone to the wine, and I think that's very much present in this. It's also natural yeast fermentation, and the characters I see in it are things like beeswax, honey, a lot of lemony citrus and candied citrus peel, a little bit of sort of toasty evolution because it's released as an older wine, and the palate also has quite good weight, but at the same time there's good acidity underneath that, which focuses the wine up and gives a good cut and direction.
It's got a lovely minerality as well, isn't it? But you were making, before in New Zealand, you were making wines in Australia before, weren't you? You were making Rieslings in the Clare Valley and the Eden Valley, weren't you? So.
That's right. So yeah. I guess I cut my teeth on Rieslings in two of the more, I suppose, famous regions of Australia for Riesling, the Clare and the Eden Valley. And it's a variety that I have a lot of passion for. I love it. It's the queen of the white grapes, and just the acidity and the vibrancy that Riesling can have, and also the versatility that it has across all of these different styles. I mean, you can have a bone-dry Riesling right up to something that's incredibly sweet, heady and viscous, and just voluptuous in structure. So an amazingly versatile grape, and just it makes some delicious wines.
What's the residual sugar of the dry Riesling?
The dry Riesling is about 7.5 grams per litre. So just off dry, and I think that's a good thing for our style because the acidity is quite fresh. So that little bit of sugar in there just helps balance the palate out and flesh it out.
Really food friendly as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Tell us about the sweet style.
Sure. The late harvest or the botrytis Riesling, that's leaves some Riesling fruit out towards the end of the season, and allow the botrytis infection to start to take hold of the grapes, and that tends to concentrate the flavours up and modify the flavours. And we'll pick through this vineyard by hand and select certain bunches that have that botrytis fungus present on them, and we'll do that about 5 times. First off, in the very sort of initial harvest, we're tending to take fruit that's not as raisined. The fruit tends to dry out and then concentrate. So the earlier picks tend to be a lot fresher and zestier and more Riesling-esque, if you like, quite perfumed and lots of lemon and floral characters. Then leave some fruit out towards the tail end of things, and it tends to concentrate up, become more raisined, and yield a really small amount of juice, ex the press, but have incredible concentration, lots of classic spicy characters, marmalade and dried apricot and dried fruits, and that's all blended together post-ferment and then put into old barrels for about 12 to 18 months, then pulled out, blended and goes to bottle. And there's two things in this wine for me. It's not not super sweet. It's about 130 grams per litre of residual sugar, and that's also focused up by a really nice core of acidity. So the wine is sweet, full, rich, but also at the same time quite fresh.
Again, a very food-friendly style, because you could have this with cheese, you could have this with dessert. It's a delicious style of sweet wine, but that lovely acidity which balances up the palate and makes sure that it's not too cloying. I've got fond memories of the late harvest Riesling from Cloudy Bay, because many years ago when I visited the vineyard, of course, you could buy the wine at cellar door, and I used to smuggle them back in my suitcase back to the UK, because we weren't allowed to actually import those wines into Europe. Now, of course, we can, so it's made things a hell of a lot easier for us to get hold of these wines. Thanks very much once again, Tim.
My pleasure.